right, I guess we are back. Another installation of this whole business update things. We've got a lot to talk about, so much so that I have a whole, you can't see that, but it's a whole list of stuff to go over, so I'll make sure I don't forget anything. But to start off, usual business updates. We are still sitting at 2 online sales. If you watched the last video, we went to a card show up in Salisbury. It's put on by PAL Productions. It's like their booster pack bash. I can't remember if I'm saying that right or not. It was a Halloween themed show. It was super great. We went there, made a couple sales. I can't remember exactly how many. At least 5, I think. Maybe 4. I don't remember the exact number. But we'll dive into that a little later. As far as updates go, we're still chugging along. Looking to get some more product. I'll probably make another Japanese order soon. With the way things are with tariffs and shipping and all that, it really makes me hesitant to make orders right now. Just because it's a lot of extra money that goes into that, paying those fees and shipping and all that. And you can say like, hey, I'll just up prices a little bit, but again, that's not something I like to do. It's not something I want to pass on to you guys. Plus, I don't want that shipment to get seized for any reason. Stuff is touchy when it comes from overseas, especially with such a big name like Pokemon. I don't want to risk paying, a couple $100s for boxes and then they get stuck in customs and then ripped open or, suspected of counterfeit and held for months and all this. And so right now I'm really hesitant to do so. As always, sign up for the newsletter. We'll announce any new product that gets added a few days before it goes live. We'll give you a time so that you guys can watch out for it. It's never going to be at noon unless it's a weekend. If it's on a weekday, it'll be after 5 because I hate noon drops. As somebody that does work and does school, that's dumb to me. It's just feeding people that have the time, which is great. I'm not gonna say it's feeding bums, but it leads to people who are working a job and having a hard enough time finding product to not be able to get more of it, right? So that's the deal. Go sign up for the newsletter if you haven't. It's a bit late for an introduction, but if you're new here, my name's Colin. I run Gothic Gaming out of my living room. It's a small online Pokemon business designed to give you guys fair prices. We're currently trying to secure distribution still, so that we can charge MSRP or below. Until then, we're gonna keep it as close to. I just dropped a safety pin at my feet. I don't want to step on that. We're trying to get as close to MSRP as we can and still run a business, right? So we're trying to offer fair prices on all of our English sealed as well as Japanese. I'm looking at getting Chinese too. Yeah, that's us. Go check out our website at gothicgaming.com. You can find us on Instagram at gothic.gaming, where we do all kinds of videos and other content and stuff like that. But yeah, getting into the rest of things after business updates. Like I said, we had that card show up in Salisbury. I want to thank everybody that came out. Nobody knew me by name, but that's okay. We'll get there eventually. Met a lot of great people. Overall, it was a fantastic show. I went up there with my best friend that I've been friends with since middle school. We drove the 2 hours from Raleigh there and 2 hours back. It was a great time. Learned a lot. I'm going to kind of pass that off. Whether you're looking to become a vendor, start a card shop, or you're just listening to me rant because you like the sound of my voice in the background of your work, I appreciate those of you that do. But yeah, overall the show was great. Met a lot of people. It's always great to interact with the community. That's why I do this. It's fun. running the business is fun, but the most fun is meeting people with the same hobby because everybody's great. 99% of people are nice. They're happy to talk to you, and it's great to just get out there beyond just over the phone, right? Because we can sit there and text and interact through social media. It's just never going to be the same as somebody standing right across from you. You both bonding over your love for some weird little guy on a card, right? So, yeah, it was a great time. So I gotta refer to my notes here. Yeah, so setup. It's my first card show from a vendor perspective. I watched a lot of stuff as well as I've been to a few shows and trying to gear it towards what I hear the community saying. So we brought a good sample of our sealed collection that we had online. So that was a couple ETBs from Twilight, a trainer's toolkit, some Japanese booster boxes, Professor's collection, like looking behind the camera to see what was there. Some Terrestrial Festival, stuff like that. Just a good reflection of our inventory online to kind of, in case there was anybody there that wanted it. We also brought a ton of singles. We had a little case that we filled with stuff. It was like over $15, I think was our point. And then let's see, we had my best friend's binder. He brought his stuff. I had a binder of heavily played damage cards. I'll talk more about that later. And then I had a box of singles. Everything was priced out. We had labels. That's the biggest thing that I've heard from everybody is the vendors that have price stickers do better because people, can walk up and see what things are priced at and everything. So went through, did that. It was a fun experience spending, 3 hours on TCG Player going through pricing out every single thing. And that's great. I have no, that's part of it. And that was fun for me. I put on Thursday Night Football and I watched that. So yeah, it was a good experience. We had everything set up. I'll talk more about kind of things I'm going to do different in a little bit. But moving on to Sealed. Sealed didn't move a ton. I had one deal with a couple of Japanese boxes that I was able to make, which is great. I didn't go into the show thinking that I was going to make thousands of dollars. I made a decent bit, enough to cover gas and food and the table and all that. So it was a good event. I moved a couple boxes, which is great. Always happy to do that. As always, I think bringing singles to a card show is going to be where it's at. People come out to see individual cards and talk and do that versus find sealed product. Speaking of sealed and online versus in person, I think, as obvious by the market, things, online opinions are not always indicative of everybody's in-person opinion, right? Because we were set up next to a dude, and that I have no hate for anybody. You operate the way that you want to operate. We operate differently. That's totally fine. We can still get along. Dude next to me had a bunch of modern sealed. It was all Mega Evolutions. I think there was a little bit of Prismatic and stuff like that, and that was awesome to see somebody amassing a collection like that. And we got to talking, and he had some higher end singles and stuff like that, as well as a binder of just commons and uncommons and hollows, reverse hollows, that kind of thing, to help people master set and stuff like that. So it was interesting just to see a different practice. But everybody online always says, "Oh, we're not buying for anything but MSRP, and everything like that." And he had good business. I'm not gonna lie to you, the dude sold well. And every single he had no price stickers. He just looked it up on. He either had it off the top of his head or, looked on TCG Player to see what things were selling at, and he did well. That's. I think it's eye-opening again as somebody who. I'm not at card shows every weekend, right? I'm talking to my friend who's into Pokemon and seeing stuff online. people are still, I mean, there's a reason the market is inflated, right? And, things are worth what they're worth is because people are willing to pay for it. But it's still interesting to me to see that people are paying this, right? People are paying $8 for a booster pack, or, paying, you know, higher inflated rates for modern imprint sealed. So it was just an interesting experience to see that difference between how I feel about things and what people online are saying versus what actually happens at a card show. Is that cards move and they move for market. It's why it's at where it is. Again, absolutely no hate to this dude. He's super chill. You know, you do you, man. I mean, hey, if you can get it to work, you get it to work. That's great. More power to you. But that's not how I operate, and that's totally fine. We can still be good friends, and that's great. But moving forward, I mentioned earlier I had a damaged binder, right? I come from Magic the Gathering. That's my game. That's what I looked for at card shows for a long time. And I don't think I have a permanent post about our setup. But, if you saw the stories and everything, there was, the binder, and then I had this white cardboard box full of, it was just a stack of top loaders with $15 and under cards. I had more people go through the damaged binder, even though, because I ran a thing and it said, okay, anything that doesn't have a sticker on it, because I had some higher value stuff that still had value, even if it was damaged. If it wasn't stickered, it was $1. I had so many people pour over it. I learned very quickly that Pokemon is about the binders. And, moving forward, I think I'm gonna convert just to binders. Like, I don't think you guys will ever see this white box again at a card show because nobody wanted to flip through it, and that's totally cool. It's just my misunderstanding of how people operate. Because to me, looking at Magic, I'm used to flipping through those boxes, sitting there for hours, just going one by one, looking for the card I need. Versus everybody for Pokemon wants to flip through a binder, and that's great. That's what we're doing next time. I'm bringing a massive binder and putting everything in it that's not in a case. So there's little changes. And speaking of the damage binder, I think it was a great addition. I don't think I've seen other people do that before. Everybody has near mint or white play or everything like that, unless it's a super high chase card. Usually that's where they want to operate, and that's great. But I had so many people walk up and so many new collectors come up and were happy to take damaged cards for $1. I mean, it was wild to me. Somebody just sat through, picked out like 10 cards, and were like, yep, these are the ones I want. They have cool art. I don't care about condition. I just like the card. I had a guy come up and he was like, yep, I only collect damaged base set Mewtwo's. And pulled out his binder, and it was just pages of them. I was like, that's awesome. And I happened to have one, and he got it for $1. It's cards that I know aren't going to move super fast, and I'm more than happy to let it go for $1. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. You can tell me how bad that is, or, you should never let this go for $1 or anything like that. But you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that's willing to pay, $10 for a chewed on random, GX or something like that. And some people that are just like, oh, I like this art. It's some of them are binder copies. Like, the back is chewed on and the front looks perfectly great. So they're more than happy to pick it up because it's going to sit in a binder. And I'm more than happy to sit here and say, yeah, take it for $1. It also gives kids, because there's some cool art cards, there's some full arts, some textured stuff. It gives kids a chance as well to get some of these cards that they're going to put in their back pocket, right? A parent comes up and they look and they're like, oh, I don't want, they're like, oh, man, you're going to put this in your pocket and we're paying $15 for a near mint one? When you could get this one for $1 and it's going to look the same that the light play one will look in a week. and everybody collects something different. So it's a learning curve. And stuff like that, but I will definitely be keeping the damaged binder with me. I don't think I'm gonna be buying damaged cards. If they come in like I buy lots of cards, right? People selling off their collection, selling a binder, whatever, and that comes with damaged cards. It's getting in the damaged binder and it's going up there for $1 9 times out of 10. So we're gonna keep that up. I think it's great. It's fun. It's just something, I get to start a conversation and be like, yeah, that's all damaged. I have a taste for Pokemon cards. I like the way the textured ones feel. So I chewed a few of them. But yeah, you can have it for $1. It's just goofy, right? And it gets people talking and a little smile, and they're more likely to stick around and keep looking and all that kind of stuff. So definitely going to keep it around. That kind of moves us great into changes for next time. Obviously, I'm talking about binders, right? You won't see the white box. It'll just be binders next time. I'm definitely going to be picking up and trying to focus more on the $1 to $15 range in terms of cards. I know everybody loves the thousands of dollars of deals and watching people buy PSA 10s and, oh, this is a grail card and all this. But in reality, for vendors like me who aren't going to collect a con or what's the other big one that Deep Pocket Monster puts on? Shout out to him. Bird's fantastic. I love his content. But Card Party, that's what it is. Outside of like these massive shows, the people that come to him aren't looking to spend 10 grand, on an Umbreon PSA 10, or something like that. They're looking for $5 cards, something that's not going to break the bank. That they're looking for a master set, or they only like this one because it has cool art or something like that. So that's primarily where I'm going to focus my range in, is just the $1 to $5 area. For sure, moving forward until we start getting to bigger shows and we get bigger and all this, then I'm gonna be doing that. Let's see. Oh, it was an interesting thing. How you see, if you keep up with card show content, you see people walking around and they'll buy dollar binders and they'll come around and be like, hey, I'll offer you 50 cents or something for every single card. Will you sell the whole lot to me? Be wary of these people. As great as it is to be a vendor and have somebody offer you a bunch of money for your cards, selling them like that probably isn't the best way. If you choose to do it, great. If not, that's my personal thing. Just because I kind of know where they're probably gonna be sold on Whatnot or a stream like that, put into a repack or something like that. And with all due respect, that's not me. It's not my business. I'm not gonna sell you repacks. You're gonna know exactly what you're buying from me. And that's it. I don't want to participate in that. Plus, taking 50% off every single card in a dollar binder is kind of crazy. If you want to come through and buy everything at full price, sure. I'll work with you. I don't really want to sell out my whole stock to one person. That kind of defeats the purpose of me being there. But because I go to shows to interact with people, interact with the community, that kind of thing, versus going there strictly to make money. Like I said, this business is fun for me. It's about meeting people. I got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to meet a lot of cool vendors. And that's why I want to be in this long term, is the people. I think that's when you can get a good group of people who all share the same hobby, it just makes everything fun, whether you're making money or not. That's kind of wrapping us up for right now. We do have a next show. It's Nerdvana. It's a smaller show in Durham. It's not just TCGs, it's video games, it's all kinds of other collectibles. Definitely you guys are going to hear a report about how it goes. Follow our we'll be posting about it and all kinds of stuff on Instagram. Make sure to give us a follow, gothic.gaming on Instagram. You can follow here, like the video, tickle the bell, do the thing. And check us out at gothicgaming.com, fair priced sealed product. But yeah, it was a fantastic experience. I can't wait to do more shows and meet more people. If you found this video and you're coming to a show, I don't know, I'll get you a Bojangles or something. Probably not. Don't hold me to that because I don't want to go dump $500 at Bojangles because 10 people found me or something. But I don't know. That'd be hype if you came and said, "Oh yeah, I recognize you from content or whatever." But yeah, we'll be there. We'll be happy to chat up. We're taking trades heavy. We're not buying crazy. Being real with you guys, I don't buy crazy at shows. Because a lot of the stuff that I want to buy is lower end, and everybody comes with their PSA 10s, and I'm like, I just can't move it. And respectfully, it's insane, really cool collection. I love seeing anything that you guys collect. There's a dude that I met that only collects Doug Trios. That's awesome. I love that. I'm a Tatsugiri fan. So I love the little weird ones. But yeah, so come out to Nerdvana, come see us. I'll post about that show afterwards. I think it's November, early mid-November, around then. But yeah, looking forward to doing more of these, and check out the website, sign up for the newsletter. Everything will be linked in the description. Like the video, tickle the bell, do the thing. See you guys next time.